Hermann Hesse Top 109 Quotes. Some of us think holding on makes us strong, but sometimes it is letting go. Whoever wants music instead of noise, joy instead of pleasure, soul instead of gold, creative work instead of business, passion instead of foolery, finds no home in this trivial world of ours. There is a miracle in every new beginning. I can think. I can wait. I can fast. Within you there is a stillness and sanctuary to which you can retreat at any time and be yourself. The true profession of a man is to find his way to himself. You have to try the impossible to achieve the possible. Love your suffering. Do not resist it, do not flee from it. It is only your aversion to it that hurts, nothing else. I have always believed, and I still believe, that whatever good or bad fortune may come our way, we can always give it meaning and transform it into something of value. The bird fights its way out of the egg. The egg is the world. Who would be born must first destroy a world. The bird flies to God. That God's name is Abraxas. If I know what love is, it is because of you. Learn what is to be taken seriously and laugh at the rest. Alas, Siddhartha, I see you suffering, but you're suffering a pain at which one would like to laugh, at which you'll soon laugh for yourself. I am in truth the Steppenwolf that I often call myself, that beast astray that finds neither home nor joy nor nourishment in a world that is strange and incomprehensible to him. There is no reality except the one contained within us. Without words, without writing, and without books there would be no history, there could be no concept of humanity. Youth ends when egotism does. Maturity begins when one lives for others. We are not going in circles, we are going upwards. The path is a spiral, we have already climbed many steps. I have been and still am a seeker, but I have ceased to question stars and books. I have begun to listen to the teaching my blood whispers to me. Siddhartha stopped fighting his fate this very hour, and he stopped suffering. To achieve the possible, we must attempt the impossible again and again. You are only afraid if you are not in harmony with yourself. When we hate a person, what we hate in his image is something inside ourselves. Whatever isn't inside us can't excite us. Because the world is so full of death and horror, I try again and again to console my heart and pick the flowers that grow in the midst of hell. Your soul is the whole world. As a body everyone is single, as a soul never. There's no reality except the one contained within us. That's why so many people live an unreal life. They take images outside them for reality and never allow the world within them to assert itself. I wanted only to live in accord with the promptings which came from my true self. Why was that so very difficult? I live in my dreams, that's what you sense. Other people live in dreams, but not in their own. That's the difference. He had loved and he had found himself. Most people love to lose themselves. Making music together is the best way for two people to become friends. I have had to experience so much stupidity, so many vices, so much error, so much nausea, disillusionment and sorrow, just in order to become a child again and begin anew. I had to experience despair. I had to sink to the greatest mental depths, to thoughts of suicide, in order to experience grace. Theory is knowledge that doesn't work. Practice is when everything works and you don't know why. When you like someone, you like them in spite of their faults. When you love someone, you love them with their faults. Solitude is independence. It had been my wish, and with the years I had attained it. It was cold. Oh, cold enough. But it was also still, wonderfully still and vast, like the cold stillness of space in which the stars revolve. How could I fail to be a lone wolf and an uncouth hermit, as I did not share one of its aims nor understand one of its pleasures? Art is the contemplation of the world in a state of grace. The river is everywhere. The river has taught me to listen. You will learn from it, too. The river knows everything. One can learn everything from it. You have already learned from the river that it is good to strive downwards, to sink, to seek the depths. Happiness is love, nothing else. You are only afraid if you are not in harmony with yourself. People are afraid because they have never owned up to themselves. A whole society composed of men afraid of the unknown within them. Words cannot express the joy of new life. Our God's name is Abraxas, and he is God and Satan, and he contains both the luminous and the dark world. Happiness is a how, not a what. A talent, not an object. It was all a lie. It all stank of lies. It all gave the illusion of meaning and happiness and beauty, and all of it was just putrefaction that no one would admit to. Bitter was the taste of the world. Life was a torment. Everyone can perform magic, everyone can reach his goals, if he is able to think, if he is able to wait, if he is able to fast. Everything becomes a little different as soon as it is spoken out loud. Knowledge can be communicated, but not wisdom. One can find it, live it, be fortified by it, do wonders through it, but one cannot communicate and teach it. Each man's life represents a road toward himself, an attempt at such a road, the intimation of a path. No man has ever been entirely and completely himself. The river taught us how to listen with a silent heart, with a waiting open soul. A house without books is a poor house, even if beautiful rugs are covering its floors and precious wallpapers and pictures cover its walls. Oh, love isn't there to make us happy. I believe it exists to show us how much we can endure. The deity is within you, not in ideas and books. Truth is lived, not taught. Each man's life represents a road toward himself. To be able to throw oneself away for the sake of a moment, to be able to sacrifice years for a woman's smile, that is happiness. Loneliness is the way by which destiny endeavors to lead man to himself. Opinions mean nothing. They may be beautiful or ugly, clever or foolish. Anyone can embrace or reject them. Our mind is capable of passing beyond the dividing line we have drawn for it, beyond the pairs of opposites of which the world consists. Other, new insights begin. What could I say to you that would be of value, except that perhaps you seek too much, that as a result of your seeking you cannot find? It is not for me to judge another man's life. I must judge, I must choose, I must spurn, purely for myself. For myself, alone. The best weapons against the infamies of life are courage, willfulness, and patience. Courage strengthens, willfulness is fun, and patience provides tranquility. Each man carries the vestiges of his birth, the slime and eggshells of his primeval past with him to the end of his days. Some never become human, remaining frog, lizard, ant. Some are human above the waist, fish below. My real self wanders elsewhere, far away, wanders on and on invisibly, and has nothing to do with my life. Only within yourself exists the other reality for which you long. I can give you nothing that has not already its being within yourself. I can throw open to you no picture gallery but your own soul. A longing to wander tears my heart when I hear trees rustling in the wind at evening. People with courage and character always seem sinister to the rest. I will no longer mutilate and destroy myself in order to find a secret behind the ruins. It is not our purpose to become each other, it is to recognize each other, to learn to see the other and honor him for what he is. All higher humor begins with ceasing to take oneself seriously. Faith and doubt go hand in hand, they are complementaries. One who never doubts will never truly believe. Words do not express thoughts very well. They always become a little different immediately after they are expressed, a little distorted, a little foolish. The marvel of the Bhagavad Gita is its truly beautiful revelation of life's wisdom, which enables philosophy to blossom into religion. Solitude is independence. If time is not real, then the dividing line between this world and eternity, between suffering and bliss, between good and evil, is also an illusion. I began to understand that suffering and disappointments and melancholy are there not to vex us or cheapen us or deprive us of our dignity, but to mature and transfigure us. Siddhartha has one single goal: to become empty of thirst, desire, dreams, pleasure and sorrow, to let the self die. No longer to be self, to experience the peace of an emptied heart, to experience pure thought, that was his goal. All life is a breath exhaled by God. All dying is a breath inhaled by God. Yes, I am going into the woods, I am going into the unity of all things. I call that man awake who, with conscious knowledge and understanding, can perceive the deep unreasoning powers in his soul, his whole innermost strength, desire and weakness, and knows how to reckon with himself. I have always thirsted for knowledge, I have always been full of questions. To nobody can you communicate in words and teachings what happened to you in your hour of enlightenment. often it is the most deserving people who cannot help loving those who destroy them. You are willing to die, you coward, but not to live. Chaos demands to be recognized and experienced before letting itself be converted into a new order. No permanence is ours. We are a wave that flows to fit whatever form it finds. In every truth, the opposite is equally true. A truth can only be expressed and enveloped in words if it is one-sided. Every man is more than just himself. He also represents the unique, the very special and always significant and remarkable point at which the world's phenomena intersect, only once in this way, and never again. Seriousness is an accident of time. It consists of putting too high a value on time. In eternity there is no time. Eternity is a moment, just long enough for a joke. An enlightened man had but one duty, to seek the way to himself, to reach inner certainty, to grope his way forward, no matter where it led. Each man had only one genuine vocation, to find the way to himself. But your questions, which are unanswerable without exception, all spring from the same erroneous thinking. Age is a state of mind. Youth and age exist only among the ordinary people. All the more talented and exceptional of us are sometimes old, just as we are sometimes happy, and sometimes sad. Beauty does not bring happiness to the one who possesses it, but to the one who loves and admires it. During deep meditation it is possible to dispel time, to see simultaneously all the past, present, and future, and then everything is good, everything is perfect, everything is Brahman. Any attempt to replace a personal conscience by a collective conscience does violence to the individual and is the first step toward totalitarianism. Writing is good, thinking is better. Cleverness is good, patience is better. Painting is marvelous, it makes you happier and more patient. Afterwards you do not have black fingers as with writing, but blue and red ones. Only within yourself exists that other reality for which you long. It may be important to great thinkers to examine the world, to explain and despise it. But I think it is only important to love the world, not to despise it, not for us to hate each other, but to be able to regard the world and ourselves and all beings with love, admiration and respect. The bourgeois prefers comfort to pleasure, convenience to liberty, and a pleasant temperature to the deathly inner consuming